Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Appreciate it as always. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're looking forward to a great weekend. As I'm sure you know, the WNBA just announced the picks for the Golden State Valkyries in the expansion draft. So all this I think everyone's kind of been treading water or revving in neutral, waiting to get this out of the way so you can move forward with, okay, now let's talk about what trades can be, what free agency is going to look like, and so forth for these teams. Everything's kind of been on hold and up in the air, but now it is out of the way. Before I get even going, the one you can see on the screen. We'll talk about that first because I know that's a big one for Fever fans as well. Yes, Kate Martin, and I think everybody was thrilled about this. The Las Vegas Aces let their hostage go. Kate Martin is flying free, and she is a member of the Golden State Valkyries. So hopefully she gets a chance to actually be an integral part of that team. So that was very, very cool. A couple things I wanted to note too. Oh man, you know what's funny? I mentioned this on Twitter or X, and I said I might have to watch this thing on mute because of the group that they had on there other than Rebecca Lobo. Yet, I just want to point out a comment from Rebecca Lobo that irked me, and she's not the only one that does this. And I'm sorry. I know this is more of a celebration of the expansion, but I'm so sick of hearing about this 144 players stuff and how there are more talented players out there, and now they can join the WNBA. I'm sorry, I don't. I think the fact that there aren't enough to fill the 144 has been part of the problem. In fact, I think, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy. Maybe I'll do another video on this deep dives if you're interested, but I think the league would actually be much better with 6 or 8 teams in it right now, kind of reset. I think the games would be a lot more entertaining, a lot more competitive. The fans would enjoy it. And by the way, with the trash going on in the NBA and the quality of that product on the downslide, the WNBA has a huge historic opportunity here if they can bring up the level of their product. But anyway, anyway, I'm gonna go through the names, okay, and then I'm gonna talk about the surprises. So I'm just gonna roll through. But look, one more thing on the Kate Martin thing, because I am absolutely thrilled for her. For those of you that have been around for a while, you will know I always felt, and this was no shade on Kate Martin at all, please understand that, but I always felt specifically the Las Vegas Aces drafted Kate Martin just as much, if not more, for their out of their hatred for Caitlin Clark, because that is a trash organization from top to bottom. Mean Girls nonsense, whether it's Asia Wilson or the coach Becky Hammon, it's just trash all the way around. And I think they drafted Kate out of a hatred for Caitlin Clark. I mean, you remember the beginning of the season; they were trotting her out to do Asia love sessions and hostage videos. Basically, is what they looked at in the post-game press conferences. They'd sandwich Kate between the coach Becky Hammon and Asia Wilson, so Kate could praise Asia. And then, of course, that completely shut down and disappeared as soon as it came out that Kate Martin was selling more Las Vegas jerseys than the narcissistic Asia Wilson. Boom, that was the end of Kate Martin's Las Vegas Aces career. But anyway, rolling on, folks. We have Maria Conde from the Chicago Sky, Veronica Burton from the Connecticut Sun, Carla, I think is it pronounced Lite from Dallas Wings. I want to make sure I'm getting all these. Ileana Rupert, I believe is how you said it, was Las Vegas Aces. I don't believe she actually played this year. Kate Martin, of course, to the Sparks. You had Stephanie Talbot from the Lynx, so I don't believe she played this year. Cecilia, I believe it's Xander Lassini. I think. Come on, I need like more Johnsons and Smiths. Come on, help me out here. From the Liberty, Kayla Thornton. From the Mercury, Monique Billings. I think that's a good pickup. From the Mystics, Julie Van Loo. And then from the Seattle Storm, and this surprises absolutely no one. Nobody. That's the one team they didn't select anyone from. And if you remember, I said in a previous video and talking about this, between the whole coaching thing, which blew up with how players were treated and stuff, to Jewel Lloyd demanding a trade because of that stuff, and then I think half the team are unrestricted free agents, which Seattle, I mean, Golden State can't even pick from anywhere. Who even knows what the Seattle Storm are going to look like next year? Now, I only called out 11. I only called out 11. I had two surprises. Two surprises for me. The others don't. None of the others surprised me. The two surprises for me: Julie Vanloo being let go by the Washington Mystics. Now she's an older rookie. She's 31, but she was a rookie. Had a very, very good rookie year for the Washington Mystics as a point guard, and of course, Temi Fagbenley from the Indiana Fever. Yes, that's right. What the Temi is this nonsense? This floored me. And look, I even mentioned in previous video, and I've talked about this before with the expansion draft, that it kind of might not surprise me just because of injury and age that maybe a Temi Fagbenley or Demiris Dantas gets left unprotected. I will say that. So I did have that in the back of my mind. I have mentioned it before, but even in saying that, trying to step back and look at it objectively with the season that this team had and the way Temi, even though I know she missed a lot because of what seemed like just unfortunate, silly injuries this year, she was the first one to really connect with Caitlin Clark. She plays in a way that is conducive to, I believe, the way the Fever should play to be successful and the way Caitlin Clark will play. She's long, she's athletic, she's quick, she runs the court really well, she finishes around the rim. I think she scored like 51% of her buckets on passes from Clark. She brings high energy, exactly the type of player that the Fever need. So all I can think in looking at that, I really wish I could see the list of who else was left unprotected, because it just really surprised me. Even though I thought with age and injuries, it might be someone that they leave unprotected, depending on how they're looking at the others. But I think maybe what happened, and because I've talked about before, I I was more adamant about Grace Berger, but I had also talked previously, just in looking at the numbers that they would have in terms of protecting six and so forth. But I had always said I really liked Victoria Saxton in college. The little tiny bit of time she got with the Fever, she looked good. I would have loved to see her return. And look, she might have been unprotected too, and Golden State didn't select her. But I think that's big. And maybe with the new regime in Indiana, with Stephanie White there and Kelly and everyone, that may be part of their plan. They maybe have been looking at all the tape. They know what Saxton brings to the table, and they may be thinking, this is someone who doesn't have the injury problems, who's much younger, who could replace Temi, grow with the team, go with Caitlin Clark, and while it's a little riskier, has more of an upside. That's my thought on that, Ken. She's got a nice post-up game. She can also shoot the three, so she's got that going for her as well. So I actually really like Saxton as a player. So I think this is a shock to everyone. I think once the shock wears off, we step back. It might not be that bad when we see what else is going on. Now, of course, the Indiana Fever have been welcomed into that group that the WNBA has never had before in terms of fandom and so forth and expectations. Like, I can tell you as an Eagles fan, I know even though they've been, terrible for 30 years, the Dallas Cowboys still have this type of fan base. It's not about putting together a good team. It is not about being competitive. It is not about making the playoffs. It is about titles. It is about championships. That is the expectation of the fan base. And when you have a vocal, big fan base that has that expectation, the leash is very short. The crazy starts coming out quick. Look, the Eagles are 10-2. And I can tell you, folks, I don't think Nick Sirianni was that far from being fired when they were 2-2. Okay, that's just the way it is, and I think that's something WNBA has to get used to, and especially now the Indiana Fever. So hey, maybe we'll see that, right? Short leash, maybe. And I say this a little tongue in cheek, but I'm just kind of telling you, if this were, say, the Cowboys or the Eagles or a team like the Lakers in basketball or the Celtics, would be like, you would have fans starting to call for fire them all, fire everybody. You got rid of Timmy Bentley, fire everybody. Got to get rid of the front office. Head coach has to go. They don't have any idea what they're doing. All I can say is welcome to title or bust, Indiana Fever, and the expectations and scrutiny that come along with that. So yeah, and like I said, my only other big surprise was Julie Van Loo. But I'm really going to be interested to see what happens going forward. It's still a ways to go before we get to the free agency thing. But now we know the players that are gone, right? So now the Fever know, okay, Temi Bentley's gone. I'm gonna guess they right again. I think Kelsey Mitchell comes back at the very least. The Fever core her, and if there's just irreconcilable differences, then they trade her, and you get a sign and trade. But I think we're all going to assume Kelsey Mitchell is back, so we'll see where we go from here. Look at it this way: on the bright side is, unfortunately, Temi Bentley didn't play a lot last year because of the injuries. Started out really well because she was basically the only one connecting with Caitlin Clark, and then just missed a couple of times she missed a long stretch of time. So it's not like she played 40 games and we could be like, all right, who's going to replace that production in those minutes, right? So if you look at it that way, you look at, okay, this is what the Fever did with Caitlin Clark, and we want to move forward from that and improve and compete with the title. Temi Bentley was not actually a large part of that. She was a huge fan favorite, and we loved the way she played when she played, but she didn't play a lot last season. So, in a way, if you want to look at it like that, I mean, I think she played half the game, something like that. I think she played 20, 22 games, something like that. And she played about 19, 20 minutes, about half the game. So if you want to look at it like that, or maybe if this was a gut punch for you, then maybe this is the way to look at it. She only played half the game. She played a little less than half the minutes. Look at it like that. And with all the issues, like who do the Fever protect? Who do they, we're worried about who they might lose. In a way, and don't take this the wrong way, because anyone who's been paying attention to my channel knows that I love Temi Bentley. But you can look at it as this is about as minimal a loss as you could get with the Indiana Fever. I mean, other than, Christy Wallace, but, Christy Wallace wasn't going to, come on, that wasn't going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm sorry, but I'll get into some other stuff with it going forward as we get more details. And now we can look at, who's on what rosters, the unrestricted free agents, and start getting into all that and building a championship Indiana Fever roster. Because, of course, if they really want to win a title, they're going to be paying attention to us. We can't let the front office and the head coach make all these decisions without our input. Otherwise, we all know it's going to be an absolute disaster. Any diehard fan base will tell you so. But I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on any of these. I mean, like I said, I didn't go into depth. I wanted to talk about the Fever and the couple of surprises. Kate Martin, obviously. None of the others really surprised me, so I don't think it's that big a deal. But let me know your thoughts on these players. Let me know your thoughts on losing Temi. What do you think that means for other potential moves? I think there will be at least one big free agency signing and at least one trade coming up from the Indiana Fever. Let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and I will talk to you later.